is Whisper Sister, and this is a Whisper Rune reading for iheartwalle, or Wally, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So I'm just going to do a single rune reading. Hopefully it'll give you some insight or some food for thought. I'll draw one rune and then see if anything else comes to mind for me to add to it, but first I just want to see what stone we get. Okay, so it's called Arcano, and it's reversed. So I'm going to read the reversed reading and then the upright reading. And typically this will indicate a blockage of some kind. So I'm going to call it Kano reversed. Expect a darkening of the light in some situation or relationship. A friendship may be dying, a partnership, a marriage, or some aspect of yourself that is no longer appropriate to the person you are now becoming. Reversed, this rune points to the death of a way of being that is no longer valid, and puts you on notice that failure to face up consciously to that death would constitute a loss of opportunity. Kano reversed calls for giving up gladly the old and being prepared to live for a time empty. It calls for developing inner stability and carries the warning not to be seduced by the momentum of old ways while waiting for the new to become illuminated in their proper time. Okay, so that seems, well, as far as I can tell from your message that you sent me, that seems pretty obvious, pretty direct. In terms of, your question was sort of one of getting out of a bad relationship and feeling instinctually that you need to be alone for a while and work on yourself and figure things out. And, but yet there's somebody who, is in love with you, or you're tempted to enter into a relationship with someone, and you're not sure whether it's the right thing to do, or whether you should trust that feeling that you should be alone for a bit. It sounds to me like this would be advising that you're probably right, that you should be alone for a bit. It says here, giving up gladly the old and being prepared to live for a time empty. I know from my own personal experience, I was in a long-term relationship that, wasn't horrible, but it certainly was not a relationship that I should have been in for that long. And I went immediately from that into something with someone new. And, just recently, within the last few weeks, that also has ended. And I definitely felt, I definitely have had to deal with things that, that I've been avoiding since the end of the first relationship. So if you have a sense that there's things that you need to look at, that you would need to be alone in order to be able to look at them, then, if that's how you feel, you're probably right. And if you can trust that and let go of everything else and just stand empty and, really just sit with yourself. I've found in the last couple weeks that it's been a quite accelerated process of just getting to know myself better, accepting things about myself, and having the freedom and the privacy, really, the emotional privacy, to figure out those things without feeling responsible to anybody else, or without having to be mindful of what someone else might think or how it might affect somebody else. It sounds selfish, I guess, but when there's things that you need to work on your own, I think that's really the best way to do it, is just to really be alone and to have that total freedom to look at those things, to learn to be self-sufficient, to learn to love and appreciate yourself and give yourself what you need, to be kind to yourself. I don't know exactly what things it is that you need to look at, or that you feel you need to look at, but I know for me it's an issue of, depending on or relying on someone else to make me feel good about myself, make me feel okay. And the moment that person was taken away, I had to face a lot of fears, really, really deep fears. And, of course it's not pleasant, but the more I face them head on, instead of running from them, trying to find the next person that can help me ignore them, then the more I actually am able to dissolve them for real and realize that they're not even valid, But I don't think I could do that as long as I'm trying to get someone else to do it for me. So I don't know. My gut would say that you're probably right, especially if this is already something that if you're feeling instinctually like you need space to be on your own. Sounds like you should trust that. Okay, so that's the reverse reading. Now I'm going to read the upright reading. Now this is basically, what's possible if that is resolved. So, Kano, upright. This is the rune of opening and renewed clarity, of dispelling the darkness that has been shrouding some part of your life. You are free now both to receive gifts and to know the joy of non-attached giving. Kano is the rune for the morning of activities, for seriousness, clear intent, and concentration, all of which are essential at the beginning of any endeavor. One of the 13 cycle runes, the protection offered by Kano, is this: the more light you have, the better you can see what is trivial and outmoded in your own conditioning. In relationships, there can now be a mutual opening up, which you may trigger and set in motion through your awareness that the light of understanding is once again available to you both. Recognize that while on the one hand you are limited and dependent, on the other hand you exist at the perfect center, where the harmonious and beneficent forces of the universe merge and radiate. You are that center. Simply put, if you have been operating in the dark, there's now enough light to see that the patient on the operating table is yourself. Okay, so yeah, the sense that I get from that, and again, excuse me, I apologize if this is my own, imposing my own experience on this, because this is very much something that's relevant for me right now as well. But if I had to give my interpretation of this, I would say that although the connection that you want to have with this new person may very well be a real connection, and it might still be possible as well in the future, right? If he feels that way and you feel that way, there's nothing to say that won't still be an option when the time is right. But I can tell you that from my own experience, trying to avoid that period of being alone in between, I definitely took with me the issues that I didn't resolve, and the reliance, and the, it talks about renewed clarity and dispelling the darkness, like all of the things all of the baggage and the damages, and also all of the sort of personality traits and habits and things that got me into a lot of those negative dynamics with my, the first ex in the first place. Because I didn't take any time to really deal with those things on my own, I ended up just bringing them all along with me to the new relationship and did a lot of the same things and ended up in a lot of the same cycles and same dynamics as I did in the first relationship. So, if you want to have a different kind of relationship and a healthier relationship with this new person or any new person, it sounds to me like taking the time for yourself, learning how to be alone, learning how to be alone so that when you do open up to someone else, you're free of all of that need and the fear, which ends up being turned into, dependence, and in my experience anyway, made me fairly selfish, self-defensive anyway. It had me just needing something from this person so badly that I couldn't see past that to really be free to love them and be there for them, and which is ultimately what I would want to be able to do in a relationship. And I think that the more you can clear away those old fears and come into something fresh and available to extend yourself to another person in love rather than needing something from them to help you, then I think you have a much better chance at having a really great relationship with that person. I know it sucks. It really, really sucks. But I've just spent the last 2 years trying to find a workaround, a shortcut, trying to find some way to avoid it and be able to just bypass that part of the process and enjoy the new relationship without doing the work in between, and it didn't work. I can tell you that. So, I don't know. Again, it's up to you ultimately to make the choice, and there's no wrong decision. You'll do what you need to do, and you'll learn from the doing whether or not it was the right thing to do. And if not, then you'll know, what to do differently in the future. But yeah, that's just kind of what comes up from my own experience based on this reading. So I hope that helps. I know it's probably not what you want to hear, but yeah, so I hope that helps. I hope I didn't just sort of, hijack your reading and apply it to myself. That wasn't what I was trying to do, but it's just like very, very similar to something that I'm going through at the moment. So anyway, I'd be glad to hear what you think, if this was useful, or if you have any questions, or just if you want to share or vent or talk or whatever. I'm around. I'm available, so feel free to message me or leave a comment.